Women's Week, and today we're celebrating you, the exceptional women whose passion and drive are making a difference every day. Founded in 2001, Women in Leadership is a national nonprofit organization committed to creating a platform for diverse and inclusive workplaces. We help all women to have the confidence and opportunities to pursue positions of leadership and help employers hire, grow, and support a diverse workforce. We would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that our national office is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Syilx Okanagan peoples. I am pleased to be your host and MC for today's very special event in partnership with Amazon Canada. Thank you to Kristen Gable from Amazon Canada, David Lindermeer from IBM, and David Mossman and Dana Crichton from Women in Leadership for your help with today's event. Over the next hour, we'll hear from two special guests. The Honorable Mary Ng, Minister of Small Business, Export Promotion and International Trade, and legendary fashion entrepreneur, Diane von Furstenberg. We'll be treated to a panel discussion of 4 entrepreneurs from across Canada who will share their personal stories of pursuing a vision to build and grow a successful women-owned business. And we'll conclude with an informative presentation on how to set up a business to sell on Amazon. Today's event is presented in partnership with Amazon Canada. Amazon works with more than 30,000 small and medium-sized businesses across Canada, helping them sell their products online, use the cloud to launch and scale their businesses, create voice apps, and publish their own books. Last year, Canadian SMBs sold more than 60 million products in Amazon stores, up from 35 million year over year. According to a recent Amazon poll, 46% of businesses selling in Amazon's Canadian store are women-owned. We hope that today you will learn how Amazon can create opportunities for your own business. So we will kick things off with a special greeting from the Honorable Mary Ng, Minister of Small Business, Export Promotion and International Trade.
Hello, everyone, and happy International Women's Day. Every year on International Women's Day, we take time to reflect on the incredible contributions women make to our communities, our economies, and everything in between. After a challenging year, which has disproportionately impacted women, we know that their inclusion and empowerment is the way forward. This is also a time to reaffirm our commitment to advancing gender equality. This is a key priority for our government, and there is still more work ahead of us to achieving the full and equal participation of women in every space, from boardrooms and businesses to classrooms and community centers. Looking ahead to our shared future and recovery from COVID-19, we know that supporting women is the smartest thing that we can do. By advancing gender equality, we can add up to $150 billion to the Canadian economy, and if the world follows suit, $12 trillion to the global economy. These aren't just numbers, these are opportunities. This is why in 2018, our government invested nearly $5 billion in the new Women's Entrepreneurship Strategy, a cross-government initiative that I lead. This investment provides women entrepreneurs and business owners with access to financing, support networks, and expertise so that they can start up, scale up, and expand and access new markets, including international markets secured by Canada's 14 free trade agreements. And to ensure that we don't lose the gains that we've made in women's economic advancement, our government invested an additional $15 million to the Women's Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Fund to support women-owned businesses throughout this crisis. We know that there is much more to be done. and we are accelerating our work on the next phase of the Women's Entrepreneurship Strategy in order to deliver an inclusive economic recovery as we start to look beyond this pandemic. And this is not all. Our government's approach to supporting the success of women in business goes further than direct business investments and emergency supports. Taking action means supporting women in a kaleidoscope of ways, from income supports for raising children to paid parental leave and universal childcare. It means legislating pay equity, having a strategy to address gender-based violence, and making inclusive investments to ensure women-owned businesses grow in Canada and around the world. These are more than social policies. These are important economic policies, and it will be critical to our recovery from COVID-19. So this International Women's Day, I want to encourage every single Canadian to take action in ways, big and small, to support women and advance gender equality, and know that your government is right there with you. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you very much, Minister Ng. So we will now hear from legendary fashion entrepreneur Diane von Furstenberg.
Hello, everybody. I wish everybody a happy International Women's Day, week, month, and life. I want to thank Women in Leadership Foundation. I would like to thank Amazon, and I would like to congratulate all the women for taking initiative in being here. And all of us, you, me, all of those women who are women entrepreneurs, we all are women in charge. And I want to remind you that to be in charge is first and foremost a commitment to ourselves. It's owning who we are. We own our imperfections, they become our assets. We own our vulnerability, it becomes our strength. But I don't think you need me to say that, because you all know that, because you all are women in charge. So I congratulate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane. Brilliant. And now it's time to jump into our panel discussion. It is my pleasure to introduce our four panelists. Amanda Bartholomew, founder of the Bartholomew Sisters, Asia Horsley, CEO of Drizzle Honey, Sam McDonald, president of Deep Trekker, and Maryam Navavi, CEO and co-founder of Babbly. So let's start by hearing a bit about your businesses. I'd like each of you to explain how your business was founded. What was the big idea that led you to where you are today? Amanda, let's start with you.
All right, hello. So Bartholomew Sisters was founded by a few colliding ideas. So find products that I was comfortable with. I wasn't finding that in the drugstores or the cosmetic stores. The list of ingredients were a bit frustrating for me going through, and I knew that I could make a clean product that I knew all the ingredients for. The second big idea was basically, I started a new job and I wanted to future-proof myself. So I started that with the idea with 3 products and start small and grow from there.
Great, thank you, Amanda. Asia, what about you?
To be here and sit with all these amazing women entrepreneurs. So my background is actually in environmental science. I used to do research in agriculture and the honey industry. I became totally obsessed with bees and with honey, and I noticed that there's a big gap in the market with both the way that honey was produced, so it's not being produced in a very sustainable way. I also noticed a lack of innovation, so there wasn't much excitement happening with what I saw on shelf. And I really wanted to produce a beautiful product that would stand out, give it a millennial spin, bring some social media into it, and just make honey fun and relevant again. So I came out with a a raw, completely natural Canadian honey product. We're certified B Corp, so that means we meet the highest standards of social and environmental impact. We work with sustainable beekeepers. We add wellness superfoods into the honey to make it this really nice functional honey product, which to me, I always wanted to eat food that was good for me and also good for the planet. And we're women owned, so tying all that in was kind of my big idea.
That's so inspiring. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Asia. Sam, what about Deep Trekker?
Hi, good morning. Right, good afternoon. Sorry about that. That's been the kind of day I've had so far. In a true Deep Trekker fashion, I'm always outside, and that is really how Deep Trekker got started. I grew up in the Great Lakes area in Ontario, not on an ocean, and I have an oceanographic equipment company, but the center ocean is what really inspired me. So being an avid boater my entire life, I was always, I'm sorry, I think that I'm not able to be heard. Is that true?
Nope, we can hear you, Sam.
Okay, I just saw something pop up in the chat that said that I couldn't hear. So, with my friends, I was always fascinated with what was below the waves. There's thousands of shipwrecks in the Great Lakes, and I knew they were there, but I wasn't a scuba diver myself. And just one fated night, we were out on Lake Huron and ended up dropping a flashlight, and that was really an aha moment. Now, certainly everybody's had $1 million idea before, but I thought I had one of my own, and I thought we really need an underwater robot to go get that flashlight. But the reality is that remotely operated vehicles or underwater drones had been invented. They've been around since the 60s, but they were really complicated and arduous, and they just were not available to the everyman. I had been working in factory automation robotics for a number of years, as well as have a background in technology. And so I thought, I think we can do better than this. And I really got behind the idea, and I got very excited about it. And I convinced a few other people to join me in my journey. And we built the first ROV with my partner, Jeff Lotz, on his designs. And we sold it to fish farms in Norway. So we were immediately international out of the gate, and certainly not shipwreck hunting. So that's how we got started. And we've really grown over the last decade, bringing in software and different technology over time. We now make 7 different lines of robots.
That's awesome. Thank you, Sam. Maryam, tell us about Babbly. I understand that this was a very personal connection for you.
Yes, it's true. So Babbly started in 2019, just after I was going through a difficult time when my son was about 2 years old. I realized that he wasn't really meeting his speech and language milestones. As a first-time mom, I relied on pediatricians as well as the people around me to tell me whether that was okay or not. And there was a lot of myths around baby development. And this is something that I learned later on, that not a lot of facts and science is behind how we track a baby development. Today, when parents take their baby to a doctor, they give them a paper checklist and ask parents to fill out a few yes or no questions. So when I realized that my son needed intervention and we started coaching, essentially I learned how to play with him. He went from not talking at all to putting short sentences together within 6 months. And that was the first aha moment for me. The second one was, we had all kinds of technologies in our home, as many people do. I had my phone with me the entire time. We had, smart speakers in our house, and none of these devices that mostly are on were able to tell me that there are red flags earlier along my journey as a parent. So the second aha moment for me was, how can we use data around the house and around the home as a way to empower parents with information on their baby's development, so they don't have to rely on random suggestions on Facebook or what their family and friends with all good intentions tell them. In 2019, I put together a team. My co-founder and CTO is also a very strong female entrepreneur, machine learning science background. And we built the world's first AI that's able to analyze baby's voice. And we use the baby's voice as an input to understand how the baby is developing.
Awesome, Maryam. That's so empowering and inspiring. So it's a well-known fact that women face special challenges in the workforce, and this can be especially true for women who own businesses. Tell us about one specific challenge you faced or continue to face, and how you either overcame or are overcoming it. Amanda, let's start with you.
All right. So I would say my special challenge would be surpassing expectations. So that would be like some people in my family or friends or even strangers when they hear what I'm doing or what I'm working on. Just going further than what people ever expected me to do. It kind of pokes a little bit of like holes into your confidence, into yourself, into what you're doing, but it also ends up fueling me to go further than what they really expect of me. So people won't ever come out and say, no, you can't do this. But it might come out in different ways. Like one way I've heard a couple of times has been like, when you find the right job, you know, what happens to the business where you're going to put it aside, or when you find the right partner, and it's like, okay, you know, you have some other responsibilities, maybe family responsibilities. It's like, no, those things should be kind of like meld and help you progress in your life in general, not, you know, decide to take away from something that is a passion. And when you have the right tools and a good idea, like it should all fuel and add and contribute to your life. So I find that has been, and also one of the things that fuels me.
Amanda, you just cut out. We didn't quite hear the end of what you said. Perhaps we'll go back to you just for the last sentence, the last few seconds.
Basically, it's just like that aspect of overcoming the, I guess, lack of expectations is what fuels me at the end of the day with my business.
Yes, absolutely. Asia, what about you?
This is a bit of an issue with my audio. Can you just confirm it's okay?
We can hear you. It's a little choppy.
Okay. I'm gonna unplug my headset. How's it now?
I think that's a little bit better.
Okay. We go with the headset then. Question, it was what challenges we face. So I often get a response from people when I say that I have a honey company that they just say, oh, that's cute. Rather than considering it as a substantial business that's generating revenue and creating employment opportunities and bringing agriculture to all of North America. I even once had somebody say when I was talking about my investment from Arlene Dickinson from Dragons, and they asked if it was a donation to my company, instead of it being an investment she was making to get a return. I was not happy to hear that, of course, but these are challenges I think that women face. It's just a barrier. People thinking the company's too small to go anywhere, or when I meet with manufacturers or suppliers, they automatically assume that I'm not bringing enough business to them to have a meaningful conversation. I have definitely in the past had issues getting volume discounts because I just don't believe that I'm going to get to an adequate size to really be meaningful to their business. So This is a continual problem. It's gotten better over the future as I've learned. I need to go in prepared. I practice my pitch over and over again, so I don't fumble with the requests that I have. I bring projections with me, forecasts. That's my phone. Just want to double check. It's okay.
Asia, actually, we are having some audio issues on your end. I'm wondering if you could, if it's possible, if you could call into the conference.
I'm going to try one more.
Sure.
One more. Okay. How's that? Is that any better?
That is significantly better. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay. So should I start the whole question all over again?
I think so. Yes. If we have time. I think we have time.
Okay. I'm getting some feedback here. I think somebody's possibly not on mute. There's a chance. So the question was, what barriers do I face? So I was saying before that people assume that I just have a very small company. They think it's cute. When I was discussing my investment from Arlene Dickinson from Dragon's Den, somebody once asked me if it was a donation that I had received from her rather than an investment that was to make a return for her venture capital portfolio. It's disheartening. It's difficult to get through these barriers, but it is just part of what we as women have to face. And how I've gotten through that and still continue to get through that is by being prepared. I've practiced my pitch so many times. So when I go into meetings, I just try not to fumble, try to be confident with what I'm pitching. I bring in forecasts and projections, especially when I'm negotiating with manufacturers, because I know I often won't be able to get a volume discount. At least I found that was the case when a few years ago when I was new at this, it was often assumed that my company wasn't going to be big enough to warrant these attention from manufacturers and suppliers, and to get discounts and to negotiate with them. So now I just make sure that I'm really prepared, and I just, in a way, it's just keep showing up, just keep going. Yes, it's a barrier, but it doesn't mean that you have to give up for that reason and let it stand in your way. So I always say to anybody I mentor, just continue to lean in, continue to show up. It will get easier and you will gain more confidence with time.
Yes, absolutely. And Sam, over to you.
Thanks. I had to laugh a little bit, when people called your company cute. Would you ever call a man's company cute, no matter what size it was? It is very, it's very much a women-specific comment, and really leaning in a little bit to that. Really getting people to take me seriously was a big challenge. So part of our marketing strategy with the robots was to do a lot of trade shows. And at those trade shows, people would often ask me things like, oh, were you hired to promote the product, or perhaps even marketing? And then I would hand my business card and they would say, but you're not the president. Yes, I am the president of the company. And Asia's absolutely correct. You overcome this by being twice as smart. You overcome this by pushing twice as hard. Now, there is a separate challenge that can happen when you do that. I had one of my resellers say to me, you don't really need to be that aggressive. And my answer is, you know, what do you want me to be? Do you want me to be cute, or do you want me to be aggressive? Because you know, I'm just behaving in the same way that other entrepreneurs behave, and you just don't get those comments as a man. But I continued to pursue, and I continued to try twice as hard and to be twice as smart. I come from a background in factory automation, robotics, and even spent some time selling forestry equipment. And you were required in those traditional man type industries to really be twice as smart. They wanted to make you falter. And this isn't every person, of course, but there's always that customer who's just like, we're going to take this woman down. She's not supposed to be here. And now that Deep Trekker is a decade old and we dominate in a variety of different markets around the world, we are 100% supposed to be here. So to all the women entrepreneurs out there, just get after it, keep pushing, dust off, and walk away from those negative comments.
Yes, thank you, Sam. As I mentioned earlier today, Amazon works with 30,000 small and medium-sized businesses across Canada, helping them sell their products online, use the cloud to launch and scale their businesses, and more. 46% of businesses selling in Amazon's Canadian store are women-owned. I'd like each of you to tell us a bit about the tools that were essential to you in building and scaling your business, including Amazon. What advice do you have for the women in attendance? Amanda, let's start with you.
All right. So for me, I do this part-time. I work full-time. So essential to me when I got started was building my website. So I ended up using Wix. I originally had a template website, but I ended up using an AI, and that helped integrate a lot of different parts of the business. So I'm able to send out like newsletters, coupons, Facebook integration, and Instagram integration, and shopping as well, which has been great. Amazon fulfillment has been a godsend, especially for the holidays. That has made a massive difference for me, especially like scaling up each Christmas, each year. It's just making sure that I'm prepared and ready to go, and more stress-free than like anything else, which has been great. The third one I would say is the Canada Post small business account. That one is being able to do it all online, not waiting in line, having like, multiple boxes to ship, stand out there. And it makes it a breeze. Like I didn't use it before, but with COVID last year, I had to use it and it was amazing. I have a great mailman, Derek, who comes to the house, picks up all the packages and doesn't cost me anything, which is also nice. That's always beneficial. And so, yeah, those are my top three tools that I like to use, and that has helped me scale a lot. I would say my advice for other female entrepreneurs is if you have an idea, just get started. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you take it one step at a time, just get moving. It's like you can't be trying to execute everything at once. It's like, do one thing a day, one thing a week, anything gets you going.
Over to you, Maya.
Oh, that was awesome, Amanda. Asia, over to you next.
Yeah, so for the tools I recommend, I'm just going to talk about humans as being tools. I really do believe that as soon as you can, people should or entrepreneurs should try to hire out tasks that they're not good at or that they don't like doing. So for example, for setting up my online shop and getting started, I hired a photographer immediately to take really high quality professional photos of the products, which I think set us apart immediately versus those who tried to do it from home with bad lighting and with bad cameras. And again, another thing would be social media. That's a huge tool. I don't particularly like doing social media myself. It's a ton of work. It's a full-time job in itself. And so if I can pass that off to somebody else and hire that out, that allows me to focus on what I am good at, which is product innovation, approaching buyers to pitch product to, and taking on events like this, and just, yeah, using the human capacity and as a tool to accelerate your business. So I would say with Amazon, same principle with that. We actually hired an Amazon partner to help set up our storefront. So Amazon can be quite complex. I think that the algorithm is something to be learned with a lot of expertise, and it's something that I didn't have time to do. So I found an Amazon partner. So basically it's a third party that helps you set up your listings. They run your ads for you. So you give them a certain amount of ad spend, and then they just get you up to the top of the list and show you right up as Amazon choice or just front and center. So it's really easy for people to go on and purchase. And our Amazon partner just generally maintains what everything looks like, and we send photos to him, so we can switch things out by season. So yeah, it's just about outsourcing for me, and focusing on what I'm really good at. I think that would be my tip.
Great, Asia. Great tips. And Sam, how about you?
So I'm gonna throw a big risk of dating myself out here, but I remember how it used to be. I went through university without the internet. Can you absolutely imagine what that must have been like? Torture, I tell you. But before I started Deep Trekker, I was involved in running startup boot camps. And startups could come and they could speak about everything that they might need, whether it was accounting services or marketing services. But of course, we started to see some venture capitalists and angel folks coming to the startup camps. And really, the traditional startup model that I was used to was get an idea, start to build it, get some funding, give away a portion of your company, and grow from there. I didn't want to do it that way. So I wanted to keep all of the company for myself and my partners. And so we needed money right away, which meant platform to sell on right away. And Amazon was instrumental to that. They were one of the first places that we got sales. We used some other online tools as well and platforms for selling, but right away we had a marketing vehicle that wouldn't have been available before, in my older years of being an entrepreneur. Now, these startup camps also were, we got picked up and sponsored. So the sponsor would buy the beer and the pizza, and it was a server company who's since been bought by somebody, but they were sponsoring in order to give discounts to their servers so that software companies could develop on their servers and hopefully grow with them. Now with Amazon's web services and storage space, people don't need to buy their own servers. The cost to get started nowadays is so significantly smaller than it was, back even 15 years ago when we were doing the startup camps. So everything is there at your fingertips. You've got your development tools from Amazon. You've got your storage. You've got your marketing as well happening on the web with Amazon. You really can get started straight out of the gate. And now that Deep Trekker is moving into robotics as a platform and bringing in some intelligent service and software to our products, we're also seeing reaching out to Amazon for more of the web service side of it, as well as the AI engine and IO2 tools that they offer as well. So I had no idea that Amazon offered those things. And sure enough, so almost in one spot, you can get everything you need to start a company. I know that sounds like an Amazon commercial, but it certainly wasn't available when we first started Deep Trekker. And so now that we are about to pivot into a new area, it's great to have those tools at our fingertips. And really, anyone is free to get started with everything that's available out there now.
Great, Sam. Maryam, let's go over to you.
For us, it was really important from day one to pick tools that help us scale with a very small team. If it wasn't, we have built our entire stack on AWS from, both from a cloud perspective, but we also use Amazon's machine learning tools and pipelines. And for us, it was really important to make sure that not only we built our technology stack on something that's scalable, but also safe. As you can imagine, so through our app, through the Babbly app, parents can upload a video of their baby, We send that the audio part of that video to the cloud. Our AI will analyze the baby voice, and we will get the data back to the user, to the parents on the app. So the video recordings are sensitive data, and privacy is always a concern with baby data. And we didn't have the luxury of building proprietary internal secure systems and hiring consultants to do that for us. So instead, we looked at the AWS ecosystem and realized everything is already HIPAA compliant. It's already as safe as it gets. So that brought us peace of mind. And also, when investors come in and look at the size of the team, they can't believe what we have achieved has been done with such a small team of engineers. And the reason for that is because we used a lot of off-the-shelf technologies that were available to us. So I would say if you're starting, especially in the early days, and you're trying to be lean and efficient, pick the right tools that will help you scale and are optimized, because it buys you so much time and money down the road.
Maryam, I think we inadvertently skipped your question for the second question about your challenges in the workforce. Are you able to answer that one?
Yeah, happy to. I mean, I thought other panelists covered as well. For me, one thing that was unique to Babbly was a lot of you might have this experience, but investors invest in something that they can relate to. And we know from data that most of venture capital and the capital that flows into startups is right now, it's not the females that are making a lot of those decisions. It's actually our male counterparts. So when I pitch Babbly to a lot of VCs, if it's if there's no woman, especially in the group, or someone who has just had a baby, it's really difficult for them to make that connection as to why would someone need to track their baby's development. Whereas when, if you pitch something that relates to, a hobby that most, male might have, it's so much easier. You skip 10 of those first steps because they're already making those connections in their mind. And also similar to a lot of other female founders that I speak to, the bias towards how big our companies can become is a constant struggle. I had one investor, after meeting with them a couple of times, I guess they were not able to poke anything in the business model or in the company or the team. So they ended up saying, we can't invest in your company because you don't have experience leading a team of 100 people and higher. I guess my leadership experience was sub 50 and that was not impressive enough. And it's laughable because you think about a lot of these entrepreneurs who left college, started their first startup and ended up building unicorn companies. They had zero leadership experience. So if we follow those criteria and those logic, 90% of companies should not be funded to begin with. Again, I'm sharing this not to discourage anyone, but just, going there with open eyes. And as Sam said, we have to work twice as hard and be twice as smart to make it happen.
Thank you, Maryam.
Women are all like that anyway.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much to each of our panelists for sharing your great advice and inspirational journeys with us. We've heard a lot about the personal passion and drive that goes into founding and growing a business and the tools that can really make a difference. So before we move to our presentation on how to set up a business to sell on Amazon, I'd like to invite Lori Weir, CEO and co-founder of 4 Eyes Financial, to share her impressions of what we just heard. Lori, tell us a bit about your business.
Hi, Maya. Thanks for inviting me to participate. 4 Eyes Financial is a regulatory technology company. It's for investment firms who support investment advisors who support all of you if you have an advisor that gives you investment advice. And our company was started in 2015. We have 5 enterprise clients in Canada, 20 employees, and looking to double our growth in the next 12 months.
That's excellent. And Lori, what did you hear in the panel discussion that resonated with your own experience?
Yeah, so it was really great to hear all of your stories. I heard a number of things that resonated. So Amanda talking about overcoming people's doubts about, wow, this seems like a lot to take on. Can you do it? Should you be doing it? I certainly experienced those things myself, and I love, your sort of closing statement around that is just prove it out. And I think that at some point along the journey, probably most entrepreneurs, and certainly female entrepreneurs, have had people question, should you be following that passion? And that kind of dovetails into some of the comments that I think it was Aya made about, is this really a hobby or is it a business? And crossing the chasm from that concept, and especially when you're pre-revenue. And there are a lot of technology companies that are, pre-revenue for a really long time, but they have lots of investment in them, and they're certainly considered going concerns. So I don't think anyone should ever doubt. Sometimes it's a good thing to ask yourself, is this a hobby or is it a business? It's not a bad thing to ask yourself, but it's certainly, I think for women, it's that perspective is out there a whole lot more. And, absolutely, when you stick with it, keep showing up, I think Aya said, which I loved, you're going to keep going, and you're going to make it, and you're going to get to that stage where you can actually show your growth, keep generating revenue, and get to where you want to go. Sam, you mentioned something about going to university before the internet. I hear you there. I've been there. I also, I had a technology startup that had our servers in the basement. So that's pre-Amazon. So I will put the big similar things that Maryam said about AWS and the fact that you can actually have a safe and secure way in which to start your business, build natively on Amazon, and use and leverage the research and development and the tools that are available. This is really important. Another thing Sam said around being termed aggressive, it's interesting because it is a fine balance, I think, for female entrepreneurs to be heard and to be taken seriously, and also in styles of communication. I participated in a session last week, and there was a female VC who was giving an example of when she started her first company. She was pitching, and one of the guys at the table said, I just can't imagine this, you as a meek, mild Asian woman growing your company to $100 million. I just don't see that. And she said, and that's what he said to my face. So I think, the struggle is real. But yeah, putting forward with confidence, bringing your numbers with you to the table. I think I mentioned that. I think these are all really important things, and really interesting stories to hear each of you speak to. Yeah, so lots of really nice to hear all your stories. I think, as the growth and maturity of the stage of your business, there will be different challenges, whether you're a male or female, but I think certainly as a female, there are some that we can all relate to and probably have seen at different stages. And prove it out, keep going, know your own mind, be confident, find a cohort of people who support you. And there are many of them out there, thank goodness. And this is a great forum for building more of those relationships.
Yes. And what advice do you have about working with a company like Amazon to grow a small business?
I think for very much like Maryam, when I've been involved in multiple companies over the years. When we built 4i's Financial, we actually did not originally build it on native to AWS. the second version of our technology, we decided to build natively on AWS, and the difference that that provided is the ability to leverage the Amazon toolset and leverage that R&D budget, which is incredible. Also, from a security perspective, that, as Maryam mentioned, in the wealth space, you're required to have a SOC controls in place, so security organizational controls, in order to pass vendor assessments, which is much easier to do when you have the security protocols that you can leverage from Amazon. So these are very helpful things. You can limit the amount of proprietary technology. Certainly you want to have some of that, but you can invest in your proprietary technology and leverage the things that are available to everyone out there to use instead of rebuilding them yourself. One of the things that I found about working with Amazon is they're extremely open. We found our partnership to be incredibly supportive and helpful, even when I would say we were at a stage when a lot of people weren't giving us a lot of sort of credibility and saying, are you guys going to be around? Do you have what it takes? They believed in us right from the beginning. They were extremely supportive. Our approach was to always overreach what we wanted from that partnership, and they always met us. So I would encourage people to do that. Keep looking at what's available in that partnership. They want you to succeed, and don't be afraid to ask for, what you think you might need. You could be surprised in what you would get. And they have been a very strong partner for us, and have really helped us to accelerate our product development, and also some of our marketing.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Lori, for your insightful advice.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Great. And now it's my pleasure to hand it over to Autumn Miller, Canada Seller Success Account Representative, to take us through how to set up a business to sell on Amazon. If you have any questions for Autumn, please share them using the question tool, and we will try to get through all of them. If not, Autumn will share contact information at the end of her presentation on how to direct your questions to Amazon. Autumn, over to you.
Hi, Autumn. Just give me one moment. We had an issue sharing the presentation.
Awesome, thank you. Well, hello everyone. My name is Autumn, and I'm so happy to be here today to explain how Amazon can help your business thrive. Oh, are we having some issues with the deck? That's all right. That's all right.
Okay.
I just want to make sure everyone can see the content.
Just give me one moment here. I may just ask if it's possible, can I ask that you just say next slide? It seems every time I give you control, it drops, unfortunately.
Yep, that works for me.
Is that okay? Oh. All right, I think we should be all set.
Okay, fantastic. Well, again, everyone, my name is Autumn. Like I was mentioning, I'm just so happy to be here with you all today to help explain how Amazon can help your business thrive, like the close to 30,000 small and medium-sized businesses in Canada that are successfully selling on Amazon.ca, and how we can help you to set up your business on Amazon Canada. We have a packed full agenda, and we're going to go through some tools and useful tips to help you get started. Can we go ahead and get to the next slide, please? Thank you. First of all, I just want to take some time to acknowledge the women-owned businesses that are currently thriving on Amazon Canada. According to a recent poll, 46% of businesses selling on Amazon Canada are all women-owned. And then can we get to the next slide? We firmly believe in empowering small businesses by helping them expand their reach and diversify their revenue channels. We promote local businesses to global audiences and address previously unmet product demands in their marketplaces through the network of our fulfillment centers. Here's an example of one such promotion where we partnered with women-owned small businesses and featured them on our storefront for International Women's Day. You can go ahead and check out our International Women's Day storefront that our small business team has created with women-owned businesses curated selection. Next slide. Let's talk high level about our mission and how Amazon operates. It's important to share what our core business model is to help you understand how Amazon has maintained success over the years. And let's be honest, it's quite simple. Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder and former CEO, has often said that he gets asked the question, what's going to change over the next 10 years? And he responds by saying, that's an interesting question. But what he almost never gets asked is the opposite question, which is, what is not going to change over the next 10 years? And perhaps that's the more important question here. What we believe will not change over the next 10 years is that our customers want vast selection, fast, convenient delivery, and low competitive prices. Those are the three pillars of our retail strategy. It's truly that simple. Next slide. We've done pretty well at executing our retail strategy, demonstrated by the millions of customers that are shopping on Amazon. In Canada alone, over 15 million customers shop on Amazon every month. That's already a pretty reason to go ahead and get started selling on Amazon. Next slide, please. Continued success of small businesses on Amazon speaks for itself. In 2019, we had 30,000 registered small businesses on Amazon Canada from across Canada who grossed more than $1 billion in worldwide sales. This is plus 40% year-on-year growth, and this growth is expected to continue through the coming years. This success is part of Amazon's commitment to where we can make local go global and introduce Canadian small business products to markets around the world. Next slide, please. Selection comes from businesses that sell their products on Amazon. And these small and medium businesses are very important in bringing their product selection to our customers. In fact, more than 50% of all units sold on Amazon stores come from small and medium businesses. In Canada, that's 60 million Canadian small and medium business products sold in our stores. Next slide. This is coming from brands that we all know and love. Here's a few listed. Do you want to see your business logo on this slide too? Well, today's presentation is geared towards helping you get your business started selling on Amazon and sharing the tools that Amazon can help provide to you so your brand can be successful on Amazon.ca. Next slide. Highlighting the importance of our small and medium businesses at Amazon. Amazon has invested over $30 billion over the last 2 years in logistics, tools, services, programs, and people to foster the growth of our small and medium-sized business sellers. Next slide. We are committed to help small businesses across Canada to achieve their goals. This commitment is not only reflected in our growth, but also our positive feedback that we constantly receive from our sellers. Here are a few examples. Next slide, please. Our agenda is divided in 4 parts. First, we'll discuss what makes a good customer or consumer product brand. Then we'll chat about how to get started selling on Amazon. We'll also chat about how Amazon can help you grow and scale your business. And we'll conclude with some educational material and how you can access it on our site so that you can keep learning more about Amazon. Next slide. The million-dollar question, what makes a good consumer product brand? Next slide. Selling on Amazon requires the same business acumen as selling in person. You should be able to answer these 4 questions clearly. Who is your target customer? What is your real need? What problem are you trying to solve? How will you provide your customer with what they need? Next slide. So what exactly can you sell on Amazon? The list is quite long. With such a variety of categories, you can find space for your true passion. Whether you're just starting out or adding an online presence to your brick and mortar business, you can sell just about anything, within legal constraints, of course. Just sign up with supporting information that is required for your category. Next slide. Now you understand what to sell. Here's how you can get started. Next slide. Now you have your target customer identified. You have a product that's ready to ship, and you know all about what you're going to be selling. These are all good things to have set up before you start any type of sales model. Next slide. In case you're wondering where you can sell with Amazon, you have a lot of options. When you set up your account on Amazon.ca, your account is enabled to sell across North America, including Canada, US, and Mexico. And you can also easily register to sell worldwide in 180 countries. Note that a product can be sold in a jurisdiction if it's compliant. So although you have access to North American countries through your local account, it doesn't always necessarily mean that you can sell your product in all 3. Next slide. To sign up, you need to go to this link that's listed here on the screen and provide some information for us to verify who you are. This helps us to ensure that our customers are protected. Once you're registered, you will have access to Seller Central. Next slide. Think of Seller Central as your go-to resource for selling on Amazon. It's a portal to your Amazon business and a one-stop shop for managing your selling account, adding product information, making inventory updates, managing payments, business reports, and finding helpful content to navigate your Amazon business. It's also where you will list all of your products. Next slide. Here's all of the information available on a detail page. If you take out the Buy button from the detail page, you're left with a product title, image, descriptions, some bullet points, and customer reviews. This information is super important, as Amazon detail pages are not just a place where customers can buy your product. Amazon is also a giant research destination for customers, purchasing both online and offline. According to the Forrester research, for every $1 purchased online, $6 are researched online, but purchased offline. So in other words, it's important to have a great detail page on Amazon. We have a few tips for you coming up next. Next slide. For the title, keep it relevant, descriptive, and concise. The style guide will walk you through what should be in your title, the order of descriptions, and consistent formatting. This consistent formatting helps our customers understand what they are buying, and they're able to quickly scan titles to find the perfect product. Next slide, please. When it comes to product image, we recommend that you add at least 6 photos and a video to show all of the features of your product. This is your opportunity to teach your customers what they'll need to know about your product so that they can make a confident decision when buying. Make sure you follow the technical specs requirements for images and how to ensure that your photos can be zoomed in on, and comply with the accessibility features on Amazon. Next slide. Product features. You can highlight the key features through bullet points. Make sure that they are clear and concise, and ensure to describe the product exactly as it is. It's very important that customers get the product how it is described. Next slide. Product details. Provide enough information to inform the customer's buying decision. Customers love being able to do depth research on Amazon, especially for higher consideration purchases such as a mattress. This is beneficial for customers across Amazon, where so much of the traditional product discovery process can't fully be replicated online. We can't necessarily replicate the physical touch and feel experience, but we sure can provide our customers with a lot of detailed product information that they might not get in the store. Now that you know what you need to know on your product detail page, let's chat more about your brand page. Next slide. We went beyond the basics to facilitate customers are getting a better understanding of products and brands that they're evaluating. We have a product called Brand Stores that gives brands the opportunity to tell their unique story to customers in a rich and engaging way. We developed this capability because we believe giving customers more information about products and brands will help them in their purchasing decision. Or it might just help them to discover new and interesting brands. And brands love it because they can tell their unique story and they can highlight their differentiating features, and it helps customers to learn more about them. Digitally native direct-to-customer brands are especially savvy here, and they love it. They like taking advantage of the additional storytelling mechanisms to build tighter relationships with their customers online and offline. Next. The brand store feature is exclusively available to brand owners on Amazon. Next. Another thing to consider if you are a brand owner is Amazon Brand Registry. Amazon Brand Registry gives you access to tools that enable you to more accurately represent your brand, find and report violations, and share information that can help us proactively prevent future violations. Be protected to drive long-term success and stand apart from other sellers, while unlocking additional marketing opportunities through ads. Simply go to the link below, brandservices.amazon.ca. Next. Now that we have the basics figured out, let's scale your business on Amazon. Next slide. First things first, you need to figure out what type of fulfillment option best fits your needs and your business. There are benefits to using both Fulfillment by Amazon, both best known as FBA, and self-fulfillment. It all depends on your business and your needs. If you think you want to use your own logistics network, handle orders yourself, keep inventory on hand, use your own packaging or labels, stay profitable on projects with tighter margins, and offer products that are eligible for scale on Amazon but ineligible for FBA, then you might want to consider self-fulfillment. Next slide. If you want to easily scale using Amazon to store your fast-turning inventory and fulfill your products, you want to access millions of Amazon Prime customers, product eligibility for Amazon Prime free 2-day shipping, have competitive pricing, and other benefits that help you to be more competitive, then FBA is the right fit for you. Don't forget that our customers love fast, free shipping. One more benefit of FBA that I want to mention is that you can fulfill your orders from other sales channels through FBA. You can store your inventory in an Amazon fulfillment center and have it shipped by Amazon, even if it's for a product that's not sold on Amazon. You would manage your inventory through an online user interface, and you would direct us to return the inventory to fulfillment centers at any time. Next slide. A good way to increase visibility and sales is to use Amazon sponsored products and sponsored brands. Sponsored product ads surface your products within shopping results. Or for registered brand owners, sponsored brand ads can highlight your brand building awareness and direct traffic to your brand store. Sponsored ads will surface items based on keywords in addition to organic shopping results. Next slide. One last thing to help you grow and scale your business, data. You can track your business metrics on Seller Central by using reports. That includes the number of visitors, views, conversion rate, and even where your traffic is coming from. There are plenty of reports available to you in Seller Central so that you can dig into your data and address specific concerns. Next slide, please. Let's quickly chat about how we can access information and stay connected with Amazon. Next slide. You can review the Beginner's Guide to Selling on Amazon, which is available in both French and English. Next slide. And you can also get help from Amazon using Seller Central help pages or by contacting seller support. If you are looking to learn directly from other sellers at Amazon, go and check out our seller forum, which is also located in Seller Central. Next slide. If you have any additional questions following this presentation, do not hesitate to send us an email at sellonamazonca@amazon.com. Next slide. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now we can go ahead and hop into the Q&A portion.
Hi, Autumn. So far, we have one question regarding if the slides will be available following the presentation.
Hi, so the slides actually will not be available following the presentation, but I would encourage everyone to reach out to sellonamazonca@amazon.com.
Great, thank you. And I think one other question is what type of products do you say are best to sell on Amazon?
Yeah, as for what's best to sell on Amazon, I really believe that it comes down to your passion. If you find a product that you're passionate about, that's really going to translate into what you put into your business.
We have another question here. Is can a product be premiered on Amazon, say to have the first exclusive presentation to the public?
As for that question, would you actually mind repeating it? Sorry, I don't have it pulled up in my chat here.
Oh, sure, no problem. Sorry, can a product be premiered on Amazon? So the first exclusive presentation to the public on Amazon. I think they're just asking if they can launch a product for the first time through Amazon.
Yes, they're definitely able to do that. You don't need to have you know, a website built yet to be able to post on Amazon. It's a really good way to go ahead and make sure that your product is getting started.
Thank you. And I think we have time for just one more question, and it's, can services be sold on Amazon or just products?
Yeah, so the short answer to that would be yes and no. We have to work with the services provider network. So with that, we would have to make sure that we get in touch with the right people at Amazon to really go through and vet the process.
Thank you so much. Maya, I'm going to turn it over to you if you have any closing remarks.
Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today for this presentation, to our panelists and all of our guests attending from all over the world. So thank you so much. And again, happy International Women's Week.
Thank you everyone for attending today's session. We are now going to close the call.